Good morning, everybody. Happy Labor Day. Hope you guys have a great Labor Day. Labor Day is all about those workers that built this country, huh? How about that? Your non-GIs. Hi, Frito. Did I start talking and you have to come in? Hello. You were so good this morning. Our friends have this little Yorkie that are down at the coast, and she didn't want to play with her at first, or him, Rocky. This little Yorkie, and all of a sudden they were just running around like crazy. Poor Frito. Yorkie, that little Yorkie, Rocky, was jumping on her, chewing on her ears, and she just romped with him, and they just had such a good time. Didn't ya? Yeah, you got your exercise. You want your Dave biscuit? You want your Dave biscuit? All righty. Here you go. That's a good girl. Dee Dee, I will let you know, I see that you're talking about the deal on the quilted snowman from Quilt in a Day. Y'all, those are not the kits from Riley Blake. Those are curated by Quilt in a Day, just FYI. So, okay, good girl, good girl. So it may have the same fabrics as the kits directly from the quilt shop, like Fat Quarter, but it may not. I don't know. So, what else? Is that it? Okay, we're going to hold off on it. We're going to have to start taking turns on the biscuits and all of that. My goodness. But hello, you guys. Hey, hi, everybody. It's Becky from Power Tools with Thread. You are in our Stitchuation room. I have a frog in my throat. This is a virtual stitching retreat where we hang out in here Monday through Friday from 7 to 8 a.m. Central. And you follow me on my stitching journey, and I hope I can inspire you to put something under the needle. How about this mug? Got it on Facebook. Don't know where. Okay, just FYI. To sew or not to sew? What a stupid question. I love it. A little Shakespeare for your morning, right? All righty. We went down to the coast this weekend. We got a little house in Port O'Connor, and we had a viewer sighting. And Lisa ran into her. She, I feel like I got hair all over me. I was back in the aisle looking for some Orajel. Keith had a toothache, and she stopped and looked, and she said, "I know you." And I said, "Really?" And she goes, "I know that voice. You're Power Tools with Thread." And they just permanently moved down there to POC. So welcome, Lisa. Great to have a viewer. I'd love to get stopped by viewers. It's fun. I am home. Yeah. Oh, your computer crashed too, Ro. Oh, no. Y'all, computers. Yeah, computers. You guys were asking me about my MacBook. The only reason I went ahead and went with a MacBook is because Brilliance embroidery software will run on a Mac. You guys need to be careful about that. A lot of embroidery software packages do not run on Mac operating system. So just be careful. A lot of them only like Windows. So if you're running Simply Applique or BES, I believe those two, I used to use those two programs to make the Snapplique projects before I called it Snapplique. And those only run on Windows. So just be real careful when you're getting ready to change up and make sure that your software can run on a different operating system. Just FYI. I swear that there it is. Drive me crazy. Culprit. Got it. Hey, Fat Quarter Shop put out they released the August Sew Sampler box. This is a subscription. Lori's back. School's out. Yay. Oh, you know what? Y'all mentioned on Friday how my videos seem to be blurry on Friday because I don't have fiber. Well, my school district has a 4-day school week. So the little monsters are home on Fridays. Yeah, that's probably what's happening. So little monsters. Yes, they are. Anyway. All right. So Sampler is a subscription box. You don't know what you're getting from Fat Quarter Shop. And these are so reasonable. I think they're like $30 or something. It's crazy. And you get, it's a great way to build your stash if you're brand new to quilting And there's lots of stuff in here that can also be used in machine embroidery as well. So you always will get a little paper on top, and that comes usually with a coupon. So this one has 20% off layer cakes. So that's nice, 20% off your 10-inch squares. And there is a bonus little pattern in here, and I really like that one. There's a QR code underneath that pink paper there. And that QR code takes you and gets you this free quilt pattern. So that's really very nice that they do that. That's new. They didn't used to do that. And then you are getting a mini layer cake. This is Folk and Lore from Fancy That House Designs from Moda. Beautiful kind of fall colors and whatnot. I don't want to open it up because it'll go everywhere. Beautiful fabrics, you guys. Folk and Lore. And you can, this is what that you can make this quilt with these fabrics. Okay. So very nice. This was for August, the August release. Okay. You also got an Olfa 28 millimeter rotary cutter. These are handy when you're making those little blocks. I like to keep one in my, my little ironing station that I have right next to me, the rolling cart that I use over at my piecing machine. These are great for cutting off those tiny little dog ears. And I have a little 7-inch rotary mat. Very handy. Very handy. The Sew Sampler is called Fables of Fall. You get a paper in here to tell you what everything is. It's called the Clammy 6-inch. Looks just like a clamshell, but it's so much more. So you get a ruler you wouldn't normally pick up. Okay. And then the pattern that comes with it is to use that fabric line. So you'll get a better look at the fabric from these photos. So the Clammy 6-inch right here. Okay. So it's got an outer curve and an inner curve, 2 inner curves. Very cool. Here's the quilt you can make. You just have to add some background fabric and blue 2 1/8 yards of the blue accent fabric and the some binding. You need a border and you need 4 1/8 yards of background. This quilt finishes at 78.5. It's 78.5 square. So there you go. That's a beautiful little quilt, isn't it? Very nice. Nice quilt. So let's get you. Oh, these are mock-ups. Y'all, I avoid curves. I've got enough of my own. I don't need to do anymore. Oh my gosh, I hate curved seams. I mean, I know you can do them. I know you can, but ooh. And you also got a white mechanical pencil. Very handy. Marking on dark fabrics. Very nice. This is from Sew Line. And block number 5 of the Peaceful Baskets pattern. Very nice. Block number 5. So a lot of people are making these peaceful baskets. I didn't think of that. And then Candace, one of us here, she watches in the afternoon. She's a late sleeper. And she's the one who went to England with me. And she said that she was making last year's monthly pattern that came in the box. So it's very nice. So cool. That's a good little box, right? Get yourself some fabric to get going. Get started making some stuff. Love it. Plus discounts. There's always good discounts on the inside. You find them fun. Pam's mom taught her curves. That's great. Yeah, I know that. I hear the trick is gluing them first. There's a little way to do that. So, all right, you guys. Hey, Sewing Machines Plus is having their Sew Fest September 9th through the 13th. Yours truly will be on their Sew Fest Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 11:30 Pacific. So that's 1:30 Central for me. And I have to do product demonstrations. I'm going to be doing product demonstrations for the King Quilter 2 Elite. And that's a wonderful 18-inch long arm that I've got sitting right here in front of me. And I finished Dearly Love on it last night. Dearly Loved by Corey Yoder. It turned out so, so cute. Oh my gosh. And Harriet, I took your advice and did Christmas lights all over it. It is so cute. I can't wait to show you guys. I've got to get the binding on it yet. And I invited a friend of mine, Elaine. She's going to come over here. She was the Elaine was the long armor for my local quilt shop when I was working. You entered their contest. Good, Kathy Ann. That's great. So Elaine was the long armor at Scrappy Quilter. Well, Scrappy Quilter, Joe retired. Just saw Joe and Betty and a bunch of the quilt ladies at the funeral for Pam's husband that we went to on Friday. And very nice ceremony. Very nice. So anyway, I asked Elaine if she would come over here one of those days, whichever day, I don't know which. We haven't figured that out yet. And Valerie, my sidekick Valerie, donated a paper pantograph pattern. So we're going to put the paper pattern on the back of the table, and Elaine's going to do the demo of how to do a paper pantograph if you are not of a mind to have Pro Stitcher on it. So it's very cool. You just got sound. Well, good, Peggy. Okay. So that's going to be neat. That is not something I'm gifted with, to be able to do paper pantographs. I just freeze up. I just can't. I've tried it. You did miss the Frito visit. She's right here. She's by the door. There she is. Isn't she cute? Yeah. First thing. She hears me start talking and she's first thing. So, anyway, so that'll be neat. And those of you who know Elaine from the store in shirts, it'll be good to see her again. So hopefully she can make it. If not, if something comes up, I'll have to wing it. But I think I'm not doing that paper panto. If Elaine's not doing it, I'll come up with something else. That is not my jam. I can't do it. I know my limitations and I'm okay with them. And I don't have a problem allowing somebody else to step in and take the limelight. I'm totally fine with that. But there's a lot of you that like paper pantos, or you're considering a long arm and you don't, you know, the robotics at this point in time are beyond your budget. And so paper panels are a great way, because this machine, I mean, take a look at it here. I'll turn this around. It comes with handles on the back of the machine and that little screen right there. So that's cool. That's got everything you need. And check out that buffalo check on the back of Dearly Loved. That's so cool. We talked about a couple of weeks ago, we talked about pattern matching. Remember that? I was showing the men's shirt I had made for Keith, and you couldn't see the pocket or where the yoke matched the back of the shirt because of how I pattern matched. Well, I pattern matched that buffalo check to make it seamless, because I had to sew it together in order to make the quilt back large enough for Dearly Loved. So that was kind of cool. A little extra little challenge there I had to do. It's always amazing how you can take garment sewing techniques and employ them into your quilting, right? All righty. So we did the sew sampler box. I did bring home, y'all, I had signed up for Quilt Connecting Threads block of the month, and it's using the what are the fabrics in this? I can't remember. This is the Meadow Table Runner. And I had gotten this. I got it because it's got applique on it, and I want to Snapplique those little. I know some of you have made it. I've seen it in Facebook group. Well, I didn't mean to leave this down there, because I'm taking the monthly kits down there, so I've got something to sew on. But and I only sew on it when I'm down there. So I brought this back so I could do this up here. Okay, I wanted to show you that. And I don't need to do anything with this. And then, bye, Candace. Have a good day. Thanks for joining us this morning. And so what I wanted to do the rest of this morning was to talk about getting the September mini digitized. Okay. So we already did on Friday, we scanned in the paper pattern, these pieces, right? And I did put it together a little bit last night and got it on my screen. And I actually ended up renumbering some of the pieces. When you get to thinking about it, you know, you think you got it going, and then you're like, oh, never mind. All right. Can you do Snapplique with Stitch Artist 1? No, ma'am. The button to import the vector graphics from your scan and cut, that button is only found in Stitch Artist 2 and 3. Now, if you want to get to, you don't have to buy the whole 9 yards. You can just buy the upgrade. So it's as if you purchased Stitch Artist 2. So that's what I did. I got one at first, and then I was like, where's my button? So I got the upgrade. Okay. Felicity's the fabric line. Thank you. I appreciate that, Lori. Man, you're back, and look at you chiming in. Atta girl. Love it. Gordon, you're hoping that you'll find out to put down Merry Christmas. Yes. I put out another block this week for sure. Maybe 2. Yeah, absolutely. So, okay. I'm going to go over to my other, I'm going to go to my desktop, and we're going to do I have Stitch Artist 3 upgrade on my Amazon page? I don't know. I can look at that. I think somebody told me that I don't, but I'll put it there today. Okay. Oh, here, this is a great little question. You're trying to do Amy Bradley's cats. The head outlines are too big for your 8x14 hoop, trying to decide whether to split the design or reduce the size of the whole thing. I personally would recommend reducing the size of the whole thing because honestly, it's not that much different. You'll have a little bit more background behind it if you make the background squares the same height as the pattern calls for. You're just going to reduce that just a tiny bit. That's an option. Okay. No, I don't think the scan and cut name stuck, Dave Scanley. I don't know. So the thing about naming my machines, which I can do, but when I mention my machines names to you guys, you're like, I don't even know what she's talking about. If you just joined, right? Hey, we've got a virtual kitchen. Somebody said they smelled the coffee and it's wonderful. Wander over there and hit the thumbs up button on your way in if you wouldn't mind. I know there's goodies over there. So, Dee Dee, what tools do I recommend you bring to the scan and cut retreat? So, you are going to get an email with that information. Okay. So, Bonnie and I are putting our heads together this week, and we're going to create a packing list for you guys. Okay. So, all right. Has anything been put on the 2025 calendar for the Springfield, Missouri RV retreat? Sue, there will not be an RV retreat that I'm aware of. Bonnie and I have been talking about that. The Springfield one, we're going to find an RV park that people can be at, but nothing's going to happen in Branson. They wanted me to pay up front for your reservation, and I can't do that. So I think the brother dealer that's in Springfield, we're working with them to have an event at a local hotel. So you would need to be able to get yourself from the RV park to the event where it's going to be. So that is still in the works. So I'm glad you brought that up. So far, can you still register for Saturday's class? Yes, I believe so. You talking about in El Campo? Yeah, I believe so. Ooh, Scotty says pancakes, syrups, and fresh fruits in the virtual kitchen. Thank you, Scotty. You got it going on. Yeah. Oh, good. Man, that burning a hole in your pocket, Suzanne. That money's got a gift card from Amy Bradley Designs. Yay. Yeah, it'll be great to visit with everybody there. So, okay. I'm going to go over to my desktop, and then I've got to come back over here and close this because I don't want to leave you guys without a picture. So give me, 30 seconds to get this going and swap over. All right. And Okay, I want to do an audio check. I've got echo. Hold on. All right, can you guys hear me? Okay, there, I got rid of the audio. What was going on? MacBook's picking it up, speakers, all of that. I do not want any kind of wild audio because I've got another microphone sitting right here in front of me. Okay, yes, 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 thumbs up. Great, thank you guys, thank you, thank you. Okay, so what I wanted to do here was show you how I imported the designs that we scanned in on Friday and then turn that into a machine embroidery design. And I'm not going to get into the weeds with this really because it is still the Snapplique method. And if you take a look, you can see back here, see the ghost? I go baby step by baby step on how to do Snapplique using this ghost. You guys, and it's so funny, y'all are asking folks in the Embrilliance embroidery Facebook groups and sending in tickets to Embrilliance, and they're like, we don't even know what she's doing. So a lot of times they're at a loss. So you guys, what I'm doing is kind of, while the software can do it, it's a little revolutionary. And where did I get the drawers under my long arm? Wayfair. Yeah, I got them from Wayfair. They're just little fabric drawers, and they're perfect because they're narrow and they fit right in front of that batting bar. Yeah. That's a big pile of electric cords for all those laptops from Friday. I got to get rid of them. Yeah. All right, y'all. So, okay. Dee Dee was tired of waiting in line. She put her own Keurig in the kitchen. Love it. Okay. Okay. So let me open up Embrilliance and make sure you guys can see what I see. The only bad thing about Embrilliance, and I'm going to write to StreamYard about it, is that you guys can't see my pop-up windows. And that, I mean, it's a security thing and I get it, but let me share my screen here. Okay. So I've got this double screen here in Embrilliance right now, and this is the design. If I click on this and you look over here in the objects panel, it does not say .fcm. So this is my final embroidery design for this. Almost. I've got a little bit of work left to do on it yet. So this is the design, the BE design. And what I did is I created a 6.5 inch frame, okay, for it, a hoop essentially. And that gave me my boundaries. And then I brought in the lines. But these lines you can grab on the, up at the ruler, not on a line, but on like one of the little lines there. You can create these ruler guides. They're very handy. But the frame, the hoop is easier for me to see. And you can create your own hoop by going up here into that yellow box, the preferences. And the preferences, what I did was I went to Google and did a millimeter to inch conversion. So I made 165.1 millimeter square hoop. So this gives me my boundaries, and that's how I figured out how to put everything. All right. Let me double check with you guys, see what's going on over here. So I just want to make sure I don't miss anything. Okay, good. So I split this screen by creating a new tab. And what I did was I drug it all the way over here and it popped it over here to the side. So right now this one is active. So I'm going to click on this one over here and make this one active. So to import the design, this vector button right here, this vector button is only available in Stitch Artist 2 or 3. So I'm going to click on vector. Now I'm in Stitch Artist right now. That's this little fan looking thing right there, the sundial. See how the menus change when I click on it? Okay. You click on this. And this is confusing. Let me get out of that. All right. I'm going to go to new. There. So I'm going to go into Stitch Artist and I'm going to click on vector. And here it is on Wanderlane Mini, September Mini. And there are the pieces that I downloaded from the Scan and Cut from Brother Canvas. And here they are. Okay. I've got them all over the place. The first thing I want to do, I want to show you guys, let me scroll in real good, we talk a lot about broken graphics. I want you to notice something. See here how that is not completely straight? That may cause a problem when it comes to the old remove hidden stitches. And if you click on it, again, over here in the objects panel, .fcm, we're playing with a picture, a graphic, not embroidery design. So if you click on this, watch the tail straighten out when I turn it and see how that can fix that. So that's one thing you can do. If you have Stitch Artist 2 and you can't get that broken, you can't get those hidden stitches to remove, that can fix part of your problem. The software, this is not a one and done, you guys. You got to kind of poke around with it and get it to work. So, however, because I have Stitch Artist 3, I Control A or Command A on a Mac. Let me click off that. Control A to select all. And in Stitch Artist 3, you can go to Create, Outline. Hold on a second. I'm going to zoom way in. Let's move this. Let's see if we see any movement on these squirrels when I do the Control A to select all, create outline, and reconstruct outline. That helps. This is only available in Stitch Artist 3. I'm going to click it and see if there's any movement. A tiny bit on that little arm. We have a little movement and some others. Now his tail's, we got a little break right there. So then you go through the process, and this probably took me about 30 minutes to go through the process. I'm going to get out of Stitch Artist. It's a little bit easier to select these things and move them. You go through the process of setting up the design exactly like it's supposed to look. I'm going to move these over here. And I just wrong direction. I'm rolling my mouse bar, and I just kind of go through here and put this guy where it needs to go and just start moving them around. Okay. And it takes a little bit. His little body is right about there. And I just put his face, and I'm not going to do it all today because it takes a little bit of time and it'll bore you to death. Okay. This guy, his tail is straight on the top of the design. So you want to put him at the top of your design. You can bring in the background image, scan it to a JPEG. I didn't do that on this one. I find it easier for me to do this way. So you can, all right. Now I want to show you guys something too. What I did, I'll put the belly right there, and then you just kind of rotate it and play with it till you get it right. And it takes a minute, but it's just like doing it by hand. And then bringing in your leaves. You can tell this one here hangs on the side as well. So, okay. Let me go back over here. See what's going on here. Yeah, you use the circle shape to rotate those. It's easy to do that. All righty. So one of the things I did, this is a little bit of a challenge on this one. It's a little bit advanced. one of the things I did was I created a copy. I just traced over his little arm right here because the cap of the acorn sits on top of the arm, and this arm sits on top of the acorn. So you've got an overlap and an underlap going on. And I want to show you on this. Here's the working file. All right, I want to show you on the working file. This arm, this is the arm right here, okay? So it's going to stitch a placement line for that little arm that I copied. This arm is going to go down, and then the cap of this acorn. So when you get to here, I'm going to go back into Stitch Artist so you can see. On this arm, notice there's no blanket stitching on that arm. You can come over here to the Applique tab in Properties, and you can't see this, the drop down, but when you click this arrow, there's a drop down, and the very last one, this is your border stitch, they call it, is none. So it's only going to do the placement line, and it's not going to do the blanket stitch. So it's going to do the placement line. I will iron that little piece on there. And then the blanket stitch is going to happen when I put down the rest of the body, because the body is the same color as that. So I hope that's not terribly confusing. But you can just sit there, create yourself a little 6.5 inch hoop and start putting it all together. So that is how I did that. And is that crazy confusing? How did I do the double screen in Brilliance? Annie, you grab, I'll show you. I think I can do it again. You can grab this, a new one, you know, get a new tab and just drag it, grab a hold of it and drag it over to the side, and it double screens for you. See that? That's how you do that. So then you've got, yeah. And you can just click on them and work them side by side if you want. So it can be confusing. And then to undo it, you just click out of that. I don't want to save it. And it goes back to the whole screen. And then you can create another one if you want. And you're back to where you started. So now this is Designs by Juju's Acorn and Leaves backdrop, quilting backdrop. Okay. And if I wanted to do this as well, which I do, I want to do the quilting backdrop, and I'm going to stitch that probably tomorrow with you guys. So I would just right click and copy it. This is the 7x7. I'm going to oversize my fabric. Okay. And there is it doesn't say .fcm in the objects panel. So that is the embroidery design. And I'm going to right click and paste. And then you want to make sure, scoot that over, right click, move first. You want that backdrop quilting to quilt first. So that's going to be adorable. That'll be really, really cute. Now, I said I was almost done with this. I'm going to click on this and I'm going to hit the white little lock up here, and that's going to hide it. Let me click on the desktop, and it's gone. You can't see it, but it's still there in your objects panel. One thing I do need to do is these stitches right here in the belly of this squirrel and a little bit up here in this squirrel. I don't want those to stitch the same color as the rest of the body. And that is where you will use your stitch simulator. All right. And I'm going to drag it along. See how I've got the stitches on these guys right here. I don't want those. So I'm going to get rid of those by creating a stop. It wants to know what color. I'll make it a different color. So now all I have to do is go back in here and find that red and delete it. Hit delete with my keyboard. So, you know, I don't know what color those we're going to stitch. I've got to go in and play with the colors on this. Still, all said and done, it's better. This is kind of an advanced one, you guys. If you're up for it, it'll definitely improve your skills. But y'all, when you write into Embrilliance, you put in a ticket with Embrilliance, you're like, my hidden stitches button isn't working. Remove hidden stitches isn't working. Well, one of the things you can do, so let me see. I'm going to go back and show you guys something cool here. Let me see. That is the embroidery design. Let's go here. Let me get out of this. So take a look here at this acorn. See the gap between, this is the top of the acorn body, and this is the edge of the cap. They overlap. If I click this remove hidden stitches button, you can see that in the final design, again, this is not an embroidery design, you guys. See, it says .fcm. This is just a picture. It's just giving you a rendition. All right, it's not your embroidery design, but it's kind of showing you what it's going to look like. So that worked. And that worked because these are so far apart. So let me click on this. If I were to move this cap, where is it? Not that one. This one. If I was to move this cap a little, go into Brilliance, into Stitch Artist. Let me grab this. If I was to move this cap closer to the edge of that acorn top, all right. Now look, you can see the hidden stitches are going to be removed on the back of that arm. Let's see if it does it again. I'm going to get out of Stitch Artist and I'm going to click on this again. Well, it did do it. Sometimes when they're so close, it doesn't know, and it will, it won't, they'll be showing and you'll be like, why? It's always good to have a good little gap there. And if it looks a tiny bit different than the designer originated it, then fine. It's no big deal. So anyway, that's what I was showing you guys. Let me put that down there. All right. So I'm not telling you not to ask those questions, but you guys, the people who run those Facebook groups, they don't know what I'm doing. I mean, and I'm not an Embrilliance educator. I only know what I know. Okay. Lisa Shaw is an Embrilliance educator, and she frequents those groups, and she's wonderful and very, very knowledgeable about the software, but she doesn't do Snapplique. So, you know, I just want to put that out there. And a lot of times you'll write into Embrilliance and they're like, that's not what this program's for. It's supposed to be so that when you create a design on a different page and you bring it in, then the hidden stitches will be removed. Well, it works doing what I'm doing, but you got to play with it. Okay. So just FYI, should the squirrel's belly stitches be hidden? Yes, Judy. Except on the outside, because you can tell in the picture here. That's why I'm going to change the color. So here's the squirrel belly right there. The software put the belly stitches on there for the body because it thinks that this, from this leg up to that arm, is the same. So I'm going to use the Stitch Simulator. I'll go back into it and show you guys. I got to play it. You're loving my coffee mug? Yeah, that's cute, huh? All right. So I want to go into, that's the BE design. Okay. So to remove these belly stitches, you have to go into the Stitch Simulator, and I'm going to drag it through. Let me get all the way down to that squirrel. Okay. There's that underlap and overlap. Okay, so there's his placement line for his belly. Here's the body. All right, and now we're going to jump. Sorry, I'm running out of room on my mouse. Now we're going to jump into this right here. And right there, I'm going to back up one stitch. I'm going to click the back button. All right. And I want to change that color to white. So I'm going to hit stop. And I'm just going to change it to white. But what it does is it changes all the rest of the stitches for the remainder of that stitch to white. So I've got to go back in here now Get up here to the white. You can look up in the top and see. So right there, I want that to go forward 1 stitch. Okay, back up 1 stitch. And I'm going to stop, and I'm going to change it back to a pop-up box. Popped up a color stop. So I've changed it back to black. Okay. You don't see the pop-up block because my streaming software doesn't let it do that. All right. So there's the white. I want the white stitches. Now it's back to black. And right here, I'm going to back up a couple of stitches, and I'm going to hit the stop sign again, and I'm going to get a thread dialog box, and I'm going to go white. And I'm going to call it white again. And then I've got to go through it one more time up to the white section. Whoop, back up right there. I'm going to hit the stop sign, and I'm going to go back to black. You can't see the dialog box that just popped up to change my thread color. So that's what I'm going to do to this, and go through it with both squirrels and make sure. I need to save this. I'm going to control save. I'm going to file, save stitch and working. Okay. And Owl September, do I want to replace it? Yes. Okay. So that's what I'm going to do to make sure that the thread colors that stitch up on that belly are the right color. Okay. So I just wanted to let you guys know that. That's how that's going to work. It does take some time to play with it. So thank you, Terry. I appreciate that. It does take some time to play with it and get it looking like you want, but you're going to be doing this anyway. If you were even to cut out your pieces and do it the old-fashioned way, and you'd have to stop and change your thread color on your domestic machine and go about and do that. If you wanted to change your thread colors on this, yes, there you go, Dee Dee. We love light bulbs in the Stitchuation room. We love light bulbs. So, on these particular little mini quilts, I like to change my thread color on the little pieces, simply because I think like all one color, like black, would be kind of overwhelming and it would take away. So, yeah. What about the inside of the body? You didn't see a blanket stitch. Michelle, the reason you didn't see a blanket stitch was because the body is overlapping that and it's underneath. So I don't, honestly, because it's such a small little mini quilt, I don't want the blanket stitch there. I think it's going to look good without it, personally. Don't you? I think it's going to look good without a blanket stitch right there. I kind of like it, and that's doing it to both of them. See, I like it without that blanket stitch. That's me personally. But because the body overlaps the belly, you're not going to see blanket stitch there. Now, this could get a line. I could draw a line on it. That's going to be a lot. I think it's going to turn out cute regardless. That's just me. So, yeah, stitching it all in black is cute. Like this, where's it at? This entire quilt is stitched in black and it looks amazing. Okay, because you've got a lot of space. This is just me personally. There's my Frito. Do you want to say hi, Frito? You want to talk to him again? There she is. Such a good girl. Me personally, those quilts, like I did chicken salad all in one color. It's a pretty little, like a hay colored gold. And it turned out beautiful, all one color. And this turned out all one color, but those are big blocks. And it turned out right. What is holding that edge down then? Heat and bond light. Yeah. There is something holding it down. Yeah, the heat and bond light is holding it down. It's not going anywhere. Y'all, this quilt's only this big. They're little bitty things. So what stitch do I use instead of the blanket stitch? I mean, I am using a blanket stitch. Did I use the matte black on the Happy Halloween? No. No, I used a regular black embroidery thread with a sheen to it. Yeah. So guys are cute. Hi, Frito. Yeah. Yeah, there she is. She's plopped herself right down, right there. My little silverback gorilla. Yeah. Oh, if it was a quilt block, you know, sometimes these things, you guys, it's almost, that's really advanced. You'd have to be digitizing those stitches themselves in Stitch Artist, which you can do. She is chill. I know, Amy, that is the most chill dog I've ever had in my life. So it's a very advanced thing. When you've got those overlaps and underlaps like that, what you can do is take the belly piece and make it its own embroidery design in a different tab, and then import that in and bring it in. Yeah. So she's chewing on her feet. Are you chewing on your feet? You sweet girl. Yeah, your mama's good girl. Yeah. Such a good dog. So it's just, it's a process, you guys, and it takes time and patience to learn it. But what stabilizer did I say for satin stitching to prevent puckers? Mary, I would use Pellon's SF101. It's a single-sided fusible on the back of the background fabric. You don't need it on the back of your applique pieces except the white to make it more opaque so you don't have dark showing through. Could you use a satin stitch instead of blanket? Sure, absolutely. So on that drop down where I showed you, it says none, and you can put blankets. You can make it any way you want. You can change it in the software and preview it and see if you like it like that. And that's fine. And you can make your blanket stitch as wide or as narrow as you like. It's completely up to you. I will recommend, though, that if you are going to use a satin stitch on your pieces, that you put Pellon's SF101 on the back of your background fabric. I learned that little trick from Kimberbell because they satin stitch and fill a lot of their stuff, and it works very well. So, Midge, in Canvas, is there any way to weld two pieces together? You're digitizing a feather and combining shapes to make it look correct. Yes, you certainly can. Yeah. So highlight those two pieces and click weld. Right click weld. Yeah. And that works really well. I did that. I've done that on several pieces where you've got these small parts and they need to go together to make one big long one. Sharon's nodding. Awesome. Okay. What else you got? You're welcome, Midge. You're welcome. Midge is the winner of the Scan and Cut from the anniversary show. Congratulations, Midge. Yeah, I know. Blah, blah, blah. Say that 3 times fast, right? Well, you guys, I'm going to wind this up. I've shown you everything I wanted to show you this morning. And if you've got questions, you guys, you can always email me. Oh, somebody emailed me and asked me about why their screen looks different than mine. Their lines are different colors. Their stuff isn't the same. Y'all, that's a program thing. I have no idea why your Embrilliance looks different than mine. You can uninstall and reinstall it to get another. You might have clicked a button. Who knows, right? You might have clicked a button. So what's the difference between edge to edge or a backdrop and a quilted block? You can use backdrops. You can use Designs by Juju backdrops to create background quilting where there was none. So that's what I was doing. I'm going to see, I was going to wrap up and you guys. Okay. So on this right here, we don't have any background stitching. So it would just be plain. And you can take a backdrop and put it on there and create background stitching. So just so it looks quilted, and you can use any design that you want. And that's what I was going to do. I've got it hidden. It's already here. Let me go up here. I'm going to click on that and I'm going to unlock it. So it's going to stitch these little leaves and acorns first. And I'm going to use a matching thread so that you really don't see the stitching, but you've got a pretty little quilted background. It looks a mess here, but in the hoop. So down here where there's no stitching in the original, down here it looks, let me do this. In the original, it doesn't have any background quilting in it. So I'm going to use Designs by Juju's backdrop and create background quilting. So I'm going to cut my fabric a little bit larger and I'm going to float it in the hoop. And we'll do that tomorrow. I'm going to sew this tomorrow. Okay. So these are really pretty, and you can resize these a tiny bit if you are so inclined, if you want to. I'm going to cut mine. I'm going to Control Z to undo that, but I'm putting it a little bit larger so that when I cut it to size, the edges of those stitches will be hidden underneath the binding. Okay. That's what I'm going to do with that. Do not uninstall and reinstall ever unless instructed by customer care. Oh, okay. Yeah, Celia, you can reset your defaults. Depending on what your computer looks like, that can be difficult. You guys too, also, I want to show you or tell you about, in Embrilliance, there's a help menu up in the top, okay? If you go to the top, hit help, and there is a search feature there. So you can search whatever it is that you're looking for. So you can search vectors, you can search applique, you can search preferences, and you can go in and look at that, and you can search, will I be removing the background stitching in applique? I did. Yes, Barbara. So, oh, good. You used her background stitching in a quilt border and it looked great. Awesome, Carol. That's wonderful. That's what they're for. Let's see, if I did multiple blocks like this, would I put additional batting on it as well as backing? Yeah, so if you were making the On Wander Lane big 12-month quilt, where it's got all of the big center blocks, I would do those quilt as you go. That's what I would do. Definitely do quilt as you go. And when you download Designs by Juju's drop quilting designs, she has quilt as you go designs that don't quilt out into that seam allowance. Yeah. So that works. That certainly would work. Yeah. Thoughts on using Juju backdrops on blocks, sew blocks with sashing, then put them on the long arm with backing to long arm sashing to borders. Is this wise? Cindy, that's exactly how I made Happy Halloween. The background quilting designs that Juju made just for this quilt were the preliminary to her releasing her backdrops. So Juju digitized all of the background quilting for those, the sashing, the cornerstones and the borders and the background for Happy Halloween. So I did all of that with batting in it and sewed them all together. And then I put the backing on the long arm. Did I lay down another piece of batting? I don't think I did because it already had batting in it. I did. I laid down a very thin Pellon's 987. The one 987, it's a fusible, but I didn't fuse it. Very, very thin poly batting behind all of that. What's the difference between using a backdrop and an edge-to-edge quilting design? Claudia, that's a great question. So the edge-to-edge is designed to have a definitive start and stop. So it's going to start here. It's going to do its thing. And it's on a whole quilt. And then when it gets done, you're going to shift the quilt in the hoop and you're going to start right where the last one ended. Okay. A backdrop is designed to be used in a specific space. Okay. So for instance, I want to show you, let's say I had a big 14 by 14 design. Let me share screen with you with Embrilliance. Let's say I had a big 14 by 14 block. Okay. Let me get rid of this hoop. I'm going to get rid of draw hoop. Okay. So what you can do with these, so this is 7 by 7. All right. I'm going to put it over here. right click and copy, right click and paste. It pasted directly on top of itself. You can use the arrow keys and move it over so the alignment stays the same. The beautiful thing about the backdrops is that they're all the same scale. And I'm going to move it just a tiny bit. That's a little bit far away. See this gap right here? You can digitize these so that that looks good. And now I'm going to highlight both of these, and I'm going to right click copy and right click paste and move it down. And now I have created background quilting for a block that I otherwise wouldn't have background quilting for. See that? There you go. And you've done it with one 7x7. And those backdrops, this is from the squares that she's got. If you wanted to put this into, say, a border on a quilt, okay, let me look at this one and this one, right? Okay, let me delete that, and I'll delete the first one. Here's a border. And all you have to do is run this. You take your big, long border, okay, and you put no show mesh behind it in the hoop, and you run that border and just shift your fabric and run it again. And now you have beautiful acorn and leaves quilting in your quilt. You can quilt in your embroidery machine. I didn't see a coupon today, you guys, for Stitch Artists for Embrilliance at all. Okay. So go out and take a look at those. They're very reasonably priced, and you can create the background quilting in any quilt that you are doing. You can do that with these, and then you can put them on the long arm if you have a long arm. Okay. You're welcome, Claudia. Yeah. So yeah, Stitch Artist is on sale. But can you rotate the backdrops to fill the blank areas more? Absolutely. You can do what you want. You just need to make sure it's going to fit in your hoop, you know? Yeah, you just want to make sure it's going to fit in your hoop. So those backdrops, you guys, that's like mind-blowing when it comes to, oh my gosh, look how cute that is. And now I can put all my background quilting. You can do it block by block, or because you get both file sizes, file types when you download that from Juju. Okay. How do you do that to stitch with long arm robotics, or is it doable? The issue with long arm robotics in that is the tie offs. You need to make sure that your long arm is going to do the tie off. Would I remove the Juju quilting from under the applique pieces? Your software will do that automatically, or it should. If it doesn't, it's no big deal, you guys, because that's really thin. And then your applique, I don't think you're going to see through it. So, all right, you guys, our hour is up. This has been a lot of fun. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. I really enjoyed this. We got a little bit of education in today in Snapplique. So I really appreciate you being here. And you guys go ahead and close down the kitchen, turn the lights out when you leave, and hit the thumbs up button on your way out the door. I appreciate that. And if you are watching on the replay, thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. Are the backdrops single runs? Yes, ma'am, they are. They sure are. So you guys get on those. I've got a link to Juju stuff below too. I appreciate that. So anyway, I'm going to be doing that backdrop tomorrow on when we sew up the little squirrels, and you can see it in action. Okay. We will talk to you soon. You guys go sew something. Bye.